Not everyone has the ability to right off the bat. It's in order to astral travel, you have to condition your body, and children do it the most because they're not their views of the world of physics are not set. Because if you keep telling a child, oh, your dreams aren't real, oh, you're imagining things, oh, this doesn't exist, it limits their conscious ability to do a whole lot. So people learn to stop astral traveling if they don't know what it is exactly and if they don't feel it as a part of themselves. I could never stop unless my augments choose me not to. But, you know, a lot of people grow up being taught they can't do it, and so they lose the ability to. But there are many people who start learning how to do it again. And once your body is energy controlled to be able to protect itself, and you start becoming consciously aware that you can, it can take a while, but you can get there. I've helped a few people get to astral travel and they didn't even know anything. They didn't even know energy manipulation or abilities existed. So when people astral travel, it depends on how consciously aware and strong you are. Some people cannot leave the planet for their own protection because once you get there's some scary stuff you can run into here on Earth, but once you leave the protection of the planet's electrofield and consciousness and get out in outer space in different dimensions, it can get scary. You can run into things that can hurt you, but you can also have the most wonderful experiences you've ever had.
In the Pentagon, Emery Smith were one of those guys that, he said that there's another entities that you can communicate telepathic. We assuming that because these people look so beautiful, they are angels, because those people are white and long hair and blue eyes are angels. But I think that there's beautiful entities and beings no matter what how they look. Can you describe and tell us about that?
Well, for the telepathy, there are quite a few entities and ETs, dimensional beings, who talk telepathically and can receive telepathically. It is the second language other than what one would call light speak. And light speak is receiving information like imagery or someone's emotions from one person to another. Telepathy allows you to go a bit more and actually not only get that, but you can also receive spoken messages as well. And you literally use your thoughts and project it to someone else. They can only hear you if they have their abilities trained and consciousness open enough to receive it, kind of like biblical times. The angels would come down and they would talk to people. Those people are usually, very religious, very doubting, very, open to their Lord and the angels, so they can hear them a lot better because they're consciously aware that they exist. It's not, oh, that was just, someone talking to me. Even when angels appear in front of these people, they knew what they were. And viewing ETs is kind of the same thing. You see an ET and it might look scary, just like some of the angels look scary, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. It's the intention that they bring to you and they do upon you that makes them bad, even though their looks might be deceiving, as in, they might actually be bringing you help or, bringing messages for to help people. So you can't judge a book by its cover, but you can't also judge a species by hearsay either. There is a lot of ET species who works for the negative side, who have been so praised on this planet that is making people blind as well. You have to use your own judgment, because when it comes to interactions with anybody, you know, just because they're nice to one person doesn't mean they're going to be nice to you or treat you the same way. So it really has to be your call whether you feel that it is a right interaction for you or not.
Explain us when you describe the, the guy, the guy that has like a wrinkles. Did you see like he was a bad guy, or he was?
It was, I didn't judge him based upon his looks. It was his energy. Like when he was looking at me, it wouldn't have mattered what his eye color was. It wouldn't have mattered what his skin color was, because as a kid, I don't judge people anyway. I always judge them by what they do to me, or how they manipulate others. So having that perception, but he had like that predatory feeling of like, I'm going to do horrible things to you and I'm going to enjoy every moment of it. So that's how I judge people, like based upon their energy towards me, how I feel about them, and it's not set in stone, because it could be like it could just be that that person's having a bad day, or maybe they're feeling mischievous, but and these guys didn't try to like rip me apart. I've had way worse experiences. I've been eaten, ripped apart, blown up, everything. So, but to me, they were still really bad because that was that predatory feel. And most people will have a flight or fight moment of, I need to run, I need to get away, or I need to attack this thing, I need to defend myself for something that looks unnatural, that someone is not accustomed to seeing. Excuse me. So like if you see a really tall person, you're probably going to have a lot of thoughts running through your head of like, oh, that person's weird, or like, how did they even get that tall, or they're just like, you're so alien to me because I'm not used to seeing people this tall. And some people can get really mean about it, because
How tall they can be and how mean they can be.
those were actually draconians that
Draconian.
were,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We know they
but
are really bad.
but I have met a lot of wonderful draconians who are very nice, very Buddhist monk Zen type, would never hurt anyone, has protected these planets. They fight for Earth. So again, you can't judge based upon species or color or factions. Like, well, I mean, factions obviously is what you work for, but what I mean by factions is everyone thinks that in the ET community, everyone thinks the Andromeda factions are all good, all of them, but that's not true. There are some people in there who have not been honest, you know, who I've had issues with, and a lot of people have had issues with. So there's no black or white grade of judgment for this. And that's why I say you have to take every scenario that comes to you, every interaction, and be your own judge about it. It's okay to have all these warnings from other people, but a lot of it is hearsay. So how do we really know? You have to be the one to know.
Most people wants to put in a box.
Mm.
This type of people, oh, you are reptile, you are reptilian, you are Draco, you are black or whatever. That's, to me, you are completely correctly. You are
And
so, truly what you said, because I always, in my spirit, I feel it is energies, a lot of corruptions, between governments and religions. I don't want to go deep in every single that stuff. It's no important. I want to hear more from the new technology that we going through the human society. They are here. There's so many. Is anyhow that you can go through that topic?
Yeah.
Explain people.
Well, there's been ETs living on Earth for a very long time. I mean, between the hybrid project, where they abduct humans, male and female, and end up producing children. So, and then there are ETs who live down here just on a normal basis because they want to. Some ETs look completely human. They could be walking down the street and you would never even know. And I'm not talking about just the blonde-haired lady with blue eyes and who's really beautiful and tall. There are ETs out there who you could take any person on this planet and put them out there and they would fit in, or take any ETs from out there. There are so many skin colors out there that continuously to represent people here on Earth. In the Andromeda galaxy, they're tan colored and like mocha colored as well. So you can't really, like, I'm sorry. I've got so many lights shining at me. It's just like, there is so many human looking ETs out there that you could just literally, you could go on a date with one and you wouldn't even know. Well, I mean, eventually you might. They'll have their quirks, but it's not like they're wearing a suit or anything. And there's a lot of ETs that don't look human and have augmentations that can make them look human and still live here. And a lot of them are peaceful. They're law-abiding citizens, just like everybody else, because that's how it is out in the universe as well. You go to anywhere that is in the galaxy that is civilized and cultivated, there are still rules to follow. There's still laws. You can't just walk up and be a jerk to anybody. Well, I mean, you could, but there's still laws. So living down here wouldn't be very much different than living up there. You're just going to see a lot different species. And after a while, you get used to it and you just start not to have this concept of country or color or any DNA or anything like that for where you come from. It's always good to know where you come from and be proud of that. But when you're out there, none of it really matters where you come from. There are so many species who come from vast parts of the galaxy that are warring with each other, and they can still live peacefully on a planet because society doesn't change. Everyone still lives in groups, everyone still gets along with each other. So you get to share an experience with multiple other species each species has their own attributes that can contribute to society, whether it's the way they think or perceive something or just some talents that they naturally have. Even humans have a lot to give, but they have to learn to evolve and get along with everybody else. So I am actually part of one of their projects, which they actually helped fund the project that made me, and with the ICC scientist and being used for war and all this other stuff. But I had the worst first experience with them because it was my first alien abduction that scared the living crap out of me. I didn't think I was going to get off that ship. I didn't think I was going to live to get off that ship. And when I found out that I shared DNA with them, it was horrifying. I was like, oh my God, like, what have I become? I've always been it, but it was like, how could this be? I thought the Starseed community is like, your star family loves you. And they never go through like what happens if you belong to one of the factions that's all messed up, you know, and not good. And I'm not saying the crazy thing is that once you get out of their certain military groups, they have homeworld planets and they're absolutely gorgeous. And the people there are actually nice. So you can't judge anybody by one experience for one part of the faction, because their entire kingdom, just their civilians, you know, some of them have a little bit of temper, but then again, who doesn't, you know? So, but they're nice, they're caring, they're a lot of fun to be with. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, I shared DNA with them. It's like legitimately, because DNA never meant anything to me. Family never really meant anything to me. So being able to interact with a I went from a really bad situation, and I still don't like some of their military because, you know, it could be better, but going from the worst case scenario for me to interacting with these people who treated me so horribly, and seeing people of the same species that were really nice, it's kind of mind-blowing, because when you have a bad interaction with something like that, it kind of creates trauma and gets set in your brain. And it took me months to work through that, being like, these guys aren't going to stab me in the back, you know, they're not part of the military, they're not, you know, part of that project that I'm in. So and I have quite a few ET friends up there that, you know, are awesome, and I love them and I miss them, but you know.
I really would like to continue talking to you about so many topics, but this is just the beginning, and this is our 1 and 2 videos, and I'm sure you will be back. We need you, and we learning so much with the super soldiers. Thank you so much to you.
Yes, of course, I'll be more than happy to come back.
If anybody wants to write you a question or asking something to you, have a YouTube channel.
My YouTube channel is Galaxy of Unity, and my Facebook, for the I don't know if you guys have Facebook, but for Facebook it's Apollymi Mandillion, and it is the one with a heart of a rainbow. The other ones are my personal account. So, but you can contact me with the one with the heart with the rainbow, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you guys.
Thank you so much.